Hey guys, what's up? So today we're going to talk about how to start a basic API using Node.js. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is you want to navigate to your files and you want to navigate to the location where you want to store your files. And I'm going to go to YouTube vids and I'm going to say Node.js APIs or something. Then we will open that folder, and one of the things we want to do is we want to navigate to Visual Studio because that is my code editor of choice. So you just need to press Ctrl J. That will spin up your terminal, and then you do npm init. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use npm init without any flags. Alright, so version, we'll just say version 1.0. Description, we're going to call this basic API. Entry point, let's just leave it as index.js. Test command, we don't want to put anything there. We don't want to put anything for get repository. We don't want to put anything for keywords. Author, we're just going to do Tylee the genius. License, we're going to use ISC. Alright, so it's going to generate something for us. That's going to be stored in what's called a package.json. Right now, all you need to do is just type yes and click it. Now, automatically we have this file. Well, we have this file in our folder, right? So what we want to do is we want to start to build up our app. So what we will do first is I'd advise you to install Express, because we're trying to build things that will give us some level of functionality that we need to create our API, right? So we're going to install Express first of all. So what this is going to do is going to go to the npm repository and it's going to grab all the Express based package files and it's going to install that. Now we're going to create the index.js app that we said is our entry point. Before we do anything, we're going to edit this package.json, and what we're going to say is we're going to say start, just put a comma right here. So we're going to say start is the same thing as node index.js, and we don't have this just yet, but we're going to install a package called NodeMon that is going to help us to be able to keep running our server even if it crashes on our local machine. Okay, so we're going to install another package and we're going to call that package, name of that package actually is .env. So we're going to install .env. So the next thing you want to do is do a save dev NodeMon. Like I was explaining to you guys, we are installing the NodeMon kind of script. So basically what it would do is that it would watch some files that have certain extensions. And then if anything happens in those files, like maybe we edit something, it would reload the server. Now, we've saved that as a dev dependency. Let's see if we can start to use that. Right now, we don't have anything in our index.js, and you notice that our package.json says that we would run index.js, right? So let's change the index.js to start to have something. So we're going to use basic ES5 syntax. So that means we're not dealing with any imports, exports. We're going to, require our modules, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to say const, and we're going to say express is equal to require express. All right, it spins up some version of the default exported module from the express package, and then we store it in a constant called express. And then we say const app is equal to express, and we're going to instantiate an express application and store it in this app. So the next thing is, let's just use comments, instantiate app with express application. So the next thing we want to do is we want to create a basic route. So how we do that is we just say app.get, and this is going to require something from us. So we're going to do a slash and we're going to do a comma. We're not going to do an asynchronous function right now because we're not making any calls that require us to wait. So we're just going to do a rec and response. We're going to pass that in through an arrow function, and that arrow function is going to return something back to us. So what we're going to do is, let's do something basic. Let's say welcome to your first Node.js app. So we're going to change this to send, and and that's going to give us a very basic thing. So now we're going to tell the app to listen on a particular port, because what's happening is that when you run a Node.js app, the server kind of has to do what's called a reverse proxy. So reverse proxy basically is when I navigate to a particular route on my local machine, which basically is my server right now, it's going to use that port sort of to direct me to the application I'm looking for. This is going to be a callback, so we're just going to say server running on. So one thing we're also going to do is we're going to define the port. So ideally you would want to do something like this and just put the port like this, right? But I don't advise this because of one simple thing. If you're taking your app to production, this is going to frustrate you, because in production you don't know what port is going to be used. So the way that you avoid doing all of that is that you just do a process.env .port, and then you put that. So basically what we've said is the port should be the ports we get from the local environment, or it should be port 5000. I'm going to bring this down a little bit, and we're going to do something, setting the port. So I'm going to try to demo what this would look like. So we're going to say const.env is equal to require, and we're going to say .env. So just at the top of our application, we're going to say .env config. Ideally, what this will do is that this would enable us to use what's called an environment variable, right? So we're going to come back here and do this. I'm going to leave a link to my blog in the video so you can just access that and get a more detailed explanation, right? So if you need a really detailed explanation about what's really happening here, you need to go to my blog. So what we're going to do is we're going to say port, and we're going to say port is equal to 6000. So ideally, if we set this up correctly, the moment I click enter on this, it should run and tell me server running on and tell me what the port number is. So let's see how it goes. Alright, so do you see what happened? I set the port number here to 5000, right? But because I have an environment variable where my port is now 7000, if I come back, reload this, you see my port's now running on 7000, right? So what I did is, because I used this value, this .env, I can now impute and send values all the way from this file into this. Now, I want to say this is a disclaimer. You want to make sure that you do not send your .env file to your production environment, right? So that's really a big security risk, okay? Anyway, so I'm just gonna go ahead and delete that because I don't really need it. Just wanted to show you guys that, and I'm gonna cancel this because it's running on a certain port. We can't access such files. We're gonna delete that file. We're gonna delete that file. So now let's try running again. So npm run dev. You see, voila, our server is running. Now, how do we check this? So we're gonna open our Google Chrome, and we're gonna navigate to localhost, and we're gonna say port. This port is gonna be the port that we created in the application. Now, see what happened. When we went to port 5000, it says, welcome to your first Node.js app. So we can verify this. If we go back to our Visual Studio, we can see what we wrote here. Welcome to your first Node.js app. Welcome to your first Node.js app. So if you made it this far, you have come to the end with me. And this is all I'm going to teach you guys today. So if you want to watch more videos, please check the channel. There are a ton of videos that you may be willing to watch that could probably help you. Also, please remember to like, subscribe, and share this channel to people. Yeah.